Hi, Rudy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Um, I'm wondering, after all these years, did you think that you were gonna reunite with Mike Conley on the same team again?
No, no, I didn't. What's funny is me and Mike always text and talk. We've been talking ever since I left the Grizzlies. But he's always been the guy that I've talked to about whether it's injuries or situations or anything. I've always talked to him, kept in contact with him, and it's funny now that we're teammates again. But he's always been the constant guy. He's a great guy, and I'm happy I'm back with him.
Did you get a chance to talk to him?
Yeah, I've actually flew here with him, so and talking to him about Salt Lake City and where to live and all that stuff. He's been my tour guide.
All right, Tony Jones, the Athletic, up next.
Rudy, is this sort of a full circle moment for you? And what is the motivation for you? And I know this is an obvious question, but what's the motivation for you in search of potentially winning a championship?
I mean, it's my legacy and be a part of something. You know, um, what do you do this for? What makes you go? And after this is my after 15 years. This is obviously what makes me go. I'm in Salt Lake City to win a championship, and that's it.
Ryan Miller, KSL.
Hey, Rudy, good to meet you. You've been successful on kind of adapting your game to fit teams' needs. How do you kind of go about doing that when you get to a new team?
It just comes with being just being a spectator and knowing what the team needs and being a fan of the game. Like when you watch a team, you know how the team plays and you know what they need. So when I come to a team, I just try to be that. That's it.
Nayo Campbell, UtahJazz.com.
Hey Rudy, so what excites you most after 15 years of being in the league? This is still a fresh start. What excites you most about coming to Utah?
Just competition and being a part of winning a winning mentality. That's great for me. That's refreshing to me. Just being a part of something and adding yourself to a winning culture and showing the team what you got. I mean, it's good to. It's always different to play against a team, and once they see you, you always add something different and try to be a different player than what they expect.
Andy Larson, Salt Lake Tribune.
Like just talking about that, kind of what the team needs. Last year, kind of the perimeter defense against the Clippers, that kind of was the concern.
hmm
Do you think you can contribute there? Do you think you can be a difference maker?
I mean, for sure. I mean, I'm a basketball player. You put me on the court, I'm gonna make do, I'm gonna make way. Um, like you said, perimeter defense was something that needed to be worked on, and I'm a guy that you got to keep on the court. I believe so. I'll do whatever it takes.
Ben Anderson, KSLSports.com.
Hey Rudy, you haven't spent a lot of time ever in your career in major markets. How did that change your perspective on signing in Utah? Was it more comfortable because you've never played in the highest profile cities?
Um, to be honest with you, when I'm making my decision, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about the competitiveness. I'm thinking about the team. I'm thinking about the culture. That's what I'm thinking about. Big cities, yeah, they're great, but when it comes down to winning, that's really not too much what I'm thinking about. If I want to go to a big city or something like that, I just go there in the off season.
All right, we have Jim Conlon, RCB Radio Sport in Ireland.
Hi, Rudy. Rudy, I was just sort of wondering, you said you were coming to Utah to win a championship. Do you almost feel disappointed about your 4 seasons in San Antonio when you joined in? They had their Marcus, DeMario Rosen, and it seemed to go from 4 years. San Antonio's decline seemed to be fairly rapid. Do you feel now you're coming to an organization with Utah now that's this real serious contender once again?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't take anything away from my time in San Antonio. I learned a lot. Yeah, I played with some really good players and maybe I wouldn't say I'm mad about my time there. I just learned a lot, and it takes a lot to be winning cult and be a championship team, and I think I realized that while I was there.
Cheers, Rudy.
Tony Jones, The Athletic, follow-up.
Rudy, one of the things that I've heard is that, the Jazz beat out, a couple of really good teams for your commitment, and not only that it took a minute for you to figure out to kind of decide where you wanted to go. What was the if that's accurate, what was the tipping point for you to be like, hey, I really want to come to Utah?
One, it's the culture. Ownership group is great. Coach Quinn is great. They really sold me on it. But even more than that is, I was, a lot of really, really good teams were coming after me and wanted me to be there. But I think this team was the team that had the most need for what I can do. And when you're looking for a team or looking for a place to play, that's the biggest thing. And at the end of the day, I just want to be a resource that teams can use, and I feel like I can be the greatest asset here.
Right, Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
Okay. Rudy, you said that, Utah was a team that needed you. You also mentioned, like, as a spectator of the game, you're able to see where you can adapt to fit into a team. So in that vein, if you're assessing Utah, what are their needs, and how is it that you'll fill that role?
What are their needs? I think at this point in the game and how it's changed, you need guys that can play multiple positions. And I feel like I've changed my game to be that. I'm a bigger guy that can play guard multiple positions. That's what it's about. Nowadays in the playoffs. No disrespect to anybody that was on the team before, because obviously they're my teammates and I love them, and the team hasn't changed much. But just have a guy that can be, go and play the multiple positions, I think is very, very valuable at this point.
Andy Larson, Salt Lake Tribune, follow-up.
Rudy, what was the thing you got most out of the 4 years in San Antonio with Greg Popovich?
Just a different way of playing. I mean, up to then, I for the most part had been a starter and received most of the minutes. Just learning a different role. I came off the bench there for the majority of the time, and I learned how to complement different players. So, I think that's very valuable going into this situation.
And then with your first conversations with Quinn Snyder, what have those been like, and what have your initial impressions of him been like?
He's a basketball junkie, so am I. So we relate there. So, that's really all I can say. Like he's a student of the game, and I feel like I am also. Even at this point in my career, I like to learn, and it'll be good to be around guys like him.
David Locke, Jazz Radio.
Rudy, I think, at least according to data, you played about 8 or 9% of your time as a center last year, which is quite a change from a guy who spent some time at shooting guard when you were first in the league in Sacramento, right?
Yeah.
How much do you feel you can play? How many minutes do you think you can handle at the 5? And, I heard Larry Nance say this year, like, hey, I'm good there for about 15 minutes, but after that, I'm done. How much can you actually handle playing that role? What's a fair expectation there?
I mean, I don't know. It depends on what the game asks for. The game has changed, so I can't tell you I'm comfortable here or there. But I'm for whatever the game needs. Yeah, I can play the center. I'm not going to say I'm this guy. I play this position, but I'm just a basketball player. I do whatever is needed for the game.
Thank you.
All right, we have time for one more question. It will be Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
Rudy, you talked about that transition going from being a starter usually to more of a role player. Was that a tough one for you to make?
Physically, no. Mentally, it was. You have to change your game. You have to change the way you approach the game. That's basically it. To go from receiving most of the minutes and most of the, having the ball in your hands to being a complimentary player. It taught me a lot, and you know, it's definitely something that I think a lot of young players need to learn, and you know, and you know, it's definitely you kind of grew me to be in the situation I am right now.